Hello, hello, hello. It's Tina from CNC Designs. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you come in, if you see that red live button above my head, that means that you have caught me live. If you do not see that button, that means that you're watching me on replay. In either case, please stop and say hello so that I can be sure to say hello back to you. Happy Friday, happy Memorial Day weekend to everyone. I'm just trying to pull us up on the page so that I can see comments. Just a second. And we will get started. Tonight we are broadcasting live from two places here at CNC Designs as well as the Crafting Network. If you haven't joined the Crafting Network, please make sure you hop over to that page and join. We are filled with tons of creators that have all different types of talents that I'm sure you would like. Hello Tina, how are you? Thank you for joining. I'm just trying to find us on the page. Let me see if I can get a hold of that. I think I have found us. Let me turn down my volume. And I think we are set. 1 second. Okay, now I can see comments, so we should be good to go. So tonight we are going to be doing the monthly craft club from Magnolia. With a little twist. Let me say that. This is Craft Club. When you join Craft Club, you get a complete project in a box. Those of you who have seen me before, you may have seen me unbox Craft Clubs, but I am going to go through it. This month, we get a stencil. It's an 8.5 by 11 stencil. It's all over stars, which will be useful for many projects. I could see many uses for this. If you were doing a birthday, if you were doing any types of celebration, these stars would come in handy. As always, you get your sheet that gives you instructions, both written, and if you scan, you get a little video that you can watch to be able to put it together. Hello, Jen, how are you, my friend? And you also get a squeegee. This month it's red, white, and blue. That goes according to the project theme. Thank you so much, Jen. And you also get a sample paste package in brilliant white. I'm not going to be using my paste package or my squeegee tonight because I already have several, so I don't need to. You get some fabric, and what you're supposed to do with this fabric is cut it into strips, probably about the length or the width of your squeegee all the way across. It's a nice big piece of fabric, and you can cut really long strips. This is folded in half. It's probably, I would say, maybe about a yard. And you would cut those strips for as long as the fabric will allow. And then our surface is this really cute board. And we're going to hang our fabric strips across that, and it's going to be kind of like a flag. And you also get some wood beads and some jute string. And what your project would look like in the end is this one right here in the bottom. So we're going to put our project together like that tonight. However, I'm not going to use the fabric. I'm not going to use these beads, nor am I going to use the board, because the unique thing about Craft Club now is if you are not a member of Craft Club and you just like the stencil, for example, you can purchase the stencil, and you could also purchase the surface separately. It is more cost efficient for you to join Craft Club, because in Craft Club you get the whole kit. You get your squeegee, you get your paste, you get everything. And if you're a member of Craft Club, everything else you order is 10% off. So I always encourage people to order from Craft Club. But if you have been using Magnolia and you're not sure if you want to be in Craft Club, you're not sure you want to make that monthly commitment, you could buy this board and the stencil separately. And then of course you would have to get your own fabric and the other things that go with that. Hello, Miss Maze. So I'm going to be doing my board tonight, but I am not going to be doing it in your traditional flag colors. I love this, but I'm sure if you watch Magnolia Creators, you have probably seen many of them create this Craft Club already this month, and a lot of them chose to go to traditional red, white, and blue. I want to do mine more in a neutral kind of, some people might say it's a farmhouse, some people might say it's old world. For me, it's just the neutrals. I wanted to try it. I wanted to see how it's gonna look. So we're gonna be painting our surface. That's first and foremost. We're gonna be painting our surface with one of my favorite paints, which is Waverly Hazelnut. I'm just gonna put this down so that we can begin our painting. How's everybody doing? What's your week's been like? I have had some amazing things happen in these past couple of weeks that you guys haven't seen me. My son graduated from college, so I'm super excited about that. He's also moved into his grad school dorm now. So exciting times. We had some other things going on. Grandma's in rehab facility, but we'll make it through that because God is definitely a provider. But it was just amazing to see my son walk across that stage and receive his degree, and is just one step closer to his dreams of being a doctor in physical therapy. I am hoping that I don't need to paint this white. Typically, you guys know, whenever you see me do something like this, I usually start with a white surface, just because we know that white definitely keeps everything fresh in terms of allowing those colors to pop. When you paint over a already painted surface, you might have to do more than one coat. So we might have to apply more than one coat on this. I'm sure if I had probably started with it white, I would have just been able to get away with applying one coat of the hazelnut. But I was lazy and I didn't want to waste the white paint because I would have covered it up anyway. So at least this way I am just using one color of paint. Let me make sure. Thank you so much, T. Let me see if I can pull you guys down a little bit better. Hello, Miss Fagan. How are you? So we're going to get a little bit of heat on here. And then we're going to apply another coat. And of course, you know, I got to hit those edges. And I'm seriously contemplating about the back, just because I like my pieces to be finished all the way around. Now you guys seem like you're too low. Okay, I think that's better. Yeah, I was saying, so because I like my pieces to be finished all the way around, and so I try to do the front and the back. And this piece, actually, the front and the back might work simply because if you hung this like on a glass door, or if it was someplace hanging where it can switch around, maybe you'll put it in your yard, maybe it'll be on your porch. That way you could see it from both ends. So to do both sides, to paint both sides, probably would be a good thing. But I think this is going to be fun. I haven't seen any of the creators do their craft club project like this. So that's one of the reasons why I chose to do it. But I chose to buy the extra board because I may want to do the traditional red and white and blue as well. Oh my goodness, congratulations to your niece. That is awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited, just so excited. He'll, in about 3 years, 2.5, he will be a doctor of physical therapy. He'll be, his actual official title will be a DPT. Like how most doctors, MD, medical doctors are MDs, doctors of physical therapies are DPTs. Hello, Laveda. How are you? Thank you for watching. Hello, Lisa. How are you? Thank you for watching. So I think we got a pretty good dry here. And yeah, I definitely want to go with another coat because I still see some blue undertones there. So I want to definitely go with another coat. And I'm just looking to see if I have one of my sponge daubers, because sometimes, because they're bigger, they cover, and they cover with a more smooth surface as opposed to the brush, because you'll leave, sometimes you leave brush strokes. So let's see. Let me just sit that there. Let me try to put a little bit of paint in this top because I did not bring a plate to the table. And let's see what it'll look like if we use the dauber instead of a paintbrush. Yeah, I definitely like the dauber better because, like I said, I don't see a lot of those strokes. And we're going to use our stencil on top, so they won't be so present, but I just like to do it this way. Need him to have it because, girl, tell me about it. Tell me about it. You know I need him. You all know I need him to hurry up because a couple of weeks ago, the sister was in bad shape with this sciatica. But he definitely was a lot of support and a lot of help, you know. And the truth be told, had I been listening to my son, that might not have been as bad as it was, because he certainly has, he tells me every time he comes home, his sister and I, you guys need to exercise more, you need to stretch, you know, it's not about going to the gym to build muscle or anything like that. You know, it's not about always trying to lose weight. You need to stretch. People to underestimate stretching, and boy, did he tell the truth with that one. Because you guys know what I went through. I thought I was leaving this world. I was in so much pain. Okay, so I think we've got a lot of our edges done. I know I'm gonna get paint on my hands. It wouldn't be me if I didn't. Hello, Andrea, how are you? Hello, Marcella, how are you? We are doing our craft club kit tonight from Magnolia Craft Club. I am a Magnolia Stencil Design Company rep, and we're putting together our craft club kit, which is meant to be, and it's definitely for Memorial Day and 4th of July coming. You can use it for both occasions. I'm choosing mine to do a little bit different, and I'm using mostly neutral colors tonight on mine. I have, the kit comes with some red and white fabric to do fabric strips. I am choosing to do neutral fabric strips. So I'm hoping that it's gonna come out as pretty as I have in my head. Okay, so let's just get some coats on here really quick since we have it out. What's your plans for this weekend? Anybody got any plans? My plan is to stay home and clean my house because I have been ripping and running and not really have had time to get things in order. I want to switch over some things in my bedroom, put on my nice pretty summer linens and that kind of stuff. So that's what I'll be doing. And when I'm not doing that, I will definitely be taking some much needed rest, because these past couple of weeks in preparation for graduation and then going back to work after being sick, I feel like I haven't gotten any proper rest. Hi Cheryl, how are you? Thank you for watching. Yeah guys, when you're working on a surface like this, it's not painted, it was more of a smooth surface. I think the daubers work best because they don't leave all those brush strokes that the paintbrush leaves. The only difference is that with this surface, I definitely found that I needed 2 coats. I'll show you again what the surface originally looked like, because like I said, I bought an extra surface I did not want to take the craft club surface. So the surface started out like this. It's in this navy. And because I'm not doing the red and white, I decided to get an extra surface just for my version of the craft club. Andrea, did I say hello to you? If not, I'm sorry. Hello, how are you? Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time watching me, please let me know that. And please, I hope that this won't be your last. Hopefully you'll like what we do tonight, and that will prompt you to join me again. I typically go live on Mondays and Fridays. Friday nights is at 10 p.m. most times. I like to do late night crafting on Friday just because I like to kind of wind down from the work week and just relax for a little while, and then I'll go into my crafting. And on Monday nights, I am usually on at 8. And I usually go live from my page, but we are also featured in the Crafting Network, which is another page that I am a member and a creator on. Hello, Clara. How are you, my friend? Thank you so much for those stars. Teresa, you started a garden. Wow. Okay. You go, girl. I would imagine that that would definitely be something that I see that I think I would enjoy it. But I think I probably would enjoy planting more flowers than food, although the food probably would be definitely the healthier option and the best for my health. But what are you starting by growing, Teresa? Just going around these edges again, just to give that another little run before we start our decorating. This project shouldn't take too long, but you guys know me, I always got to do something extra, so it might take me a little bit longer than probably other creators. If you've seen other creators put their kits together, for one, most people are not painting their surface, that's for sure. I chose to do that with mine, but most of the creators who have done this project, they just went with the red, white, and blue colors. I want to do a more neutral. It'll still be reminiscent, yeah, I guess I'm saying it right, reminiscent of the flag, but just in more of a toned down kind of effect, I think. And I just, that's the beauty of art, and creating. It doesn't always have to look exactly like the thing. So I want to try something different. You started with beets, peppers, thyme, scallions, and parsley. Okay. Well, you definitely got to keep a lookout on Magnolia's site. I don't know for sure, but you might even want to check now. I know we did have a stencil that had the names of some different herbs and things you could grow in a garden, and you could put those labels like on your jars or whatever it is, just storing those items in. And also, while we're on the subject this week, guys, Magnolia is having a sale. If you spend $40 this weekend, you will get a free 8x11, 8.5 by 11 stencil, as well as a free squeegee. If you spend $75, you get 2 free stencils, 8.5 by 11, and your squeegee. In addition to the fact that we've just had some great new rub-ons that have just come out. So this might be a good weekend to check, because if you're in for some shopping for some stencils, you can definitely take advantage of those free ones. This would definitely be one that I would tell all my customers about. So here's our surface now. And we have painted it on both sides, which is definitely my thing. I like to have finished projects. So, hello, Miss Jusino, how are you? So the top, the part with the holes is definitely your top of your project, because that's where you're going to put your hanger to be able to hang this up. But this is what we have so far. I'm just looking to see if one side is more fit for the front than the other. I think we'll stick with this one. I do see a little bit of dampness there, so I am going to give it a little bit more heat. Hello, Jamie Shepherd. How are you? Thank you for watching. And if anybody else is interested, at the end of the month, we are having a Magnolia bingo game. And the cost for entering that bingo game is just $5. You will get 3 bingo cards, so you have 3 options to win for that $5, and the winner of that bingo game will definitely get some Magnolia products. That dryer came from Amazon. It is called, it's by Tim Holtz, and it is the Ranger Heated is the name of it. I like it because it's not as noisy as the others. The other one I had, in fact, it still works. It just was so noisy. This one is a lot more quiet, so I love this one. But you can find it on Amazon. It's probably somewhere around between 25 and 27 bucks. I didn't find it too expensive at all. Jamie Shepherd, have I said hello to you? Hello, and thank you for watching. This is our stencil that came in our kit. It's an all over star pattern, and I was saying this pattern, this particular stencil you can use for many things, not just 4th of July or flag related instances. If it was a birthday party that you were decorating for, these stars certainly come in handy for that. Stars come in handy for almost any celebratory occasion. So when you see stars, don't always think I have to be doing a patriotic project in order to use those stars. Hello, Miss Miller, how are you? Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. So I'm just fuzzing the stencil, even though it is on a pretty hard surface, and I don't think I'll be pulling up too much. I did paint over it, so I just want to be extra careful and give it a couple of fuzzes so it's not too tacky. Okay. So, and the other thing that I have been thinking about, because I am doing this in a more neutral, I don't want to say farmhouse, but certainly a more neutral color wave, was whether or not I wanted to use white chalk paste or if I wanted to use another color such as our almond latte or our beige type colors. So we'll look at that in a second. This is kind of sticky. I'm going to give it just one more fuzz because it's kind of sticky. One thing about your stencils is they definitely are tacky, so you don't have to worry about them not adhering to your surface, and they will last for a very long time. As long as you take care of them, you will have no problems. You can get many uses out of them. I'm trying to see what is more important for me, where it's more important for me to get full star coverage. Okay, I see this one is definitely going to move over a little bit more. So let me see. I think I'm overthinking this. This definitely does not require this much thinking. Okay, so we have our brilliant white, and I thought I bought, yeah, I did. And I bought 2 other colors, which are our almond latte. So you can see the differences there, as well as this is our Irish cream. I was thinking Irish cream, but then I was wondering if it was going to be too dark. So we might set that aside. I think almond latte might work for us because we're going to be working with neutral color fabric strips. So I'm trying to find a paste color that would be best. And I think the almond latte actually would work better than the bright white. So we're going to use that paste, and I know I pulled a squeegee out. That much I'm pretty sure of, but what did I do with it? Now that is a whole other question. So that's why when you get Craft Club, you never throw squeegees away because you will always have plenty. And here I have one here, and I'm just looking to see if I have an even bigger one, and I do. So we're in business. Here's our little stir stick, and we can get this down to apply our. Yes, bingo. You will, if you purchase a spot for bingo, you will definitely be hearing from me, asking you, or if you can do it now even. You can message me your email address because this bingo will be on Zoom, ladies. It's designed to be interactive for us to be able to chat for a little while, have some fun, play bingo. And I just don't like doing it on Facebook because I don't get to see you and I don't get to interact with you the way I would on Zoom. So each one of you who purchased a ticket for bingo, you will need to give me your email address so that I can email you your bingo cards, because you will get official bingo cards, and no 2 people have the same card. And that will be what you use when we meet up in Zoom and play the bingo game. So if you've paid already for your ticket, you will definitely hear from me asking me for your email address. It will not be on Facebook, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. And if any of you know me personally and you remember during the C time, we used to have bingo every 2 weeks and we had big fun. So Miss Mays, I know I have your email address. I would just need Clara to send me her email address. We're gonna have some fun. Get your favorite beverage of choice. Come on in the bingo, and let's really vibe, get to know each other, and you get to win. The winner will get to get a nice package of Magnolia product. And quite honestly, the more people that purchase the tickets, the higher the prize will be in terms of its value. I do feel like my paste is kind of pulling up a little bit, but I'm okay with this because I said that I wanted it to look a little bit more worn. So I like that. My stars are not completely filled in all areas. And I'm not going to go back over it and try to do that because actually I think that's a happy accident. So I'm just going to take my water tool here, my water holder, to put my stencil in there and just kind of try to release some of that paste while we continue working. Just want to saturate it really good so that paste can begin to release itself from the stencil. Here is the other squeegee I was looking for, by the way, guys. I'm going to stick that right there because I probably need another paper towel. Let me just wipe my hands and then we can move on. I really am liking this. I like the fact that those stars look a little distressed. So let me show you again. This is our surface with the stencil used on it. I really like that. So we're gonna sit this over here for a few minutes and I'm gonna show you my fabric strips. We have tons of neutral beiges and browns and some drop cloth that we're gonna be adding to our project. I got a couple of little embellishments that we may use. So I'm just gonna put all of that out here. And I cut the fabric strips up already. As I told you before earlier, in your craft club, you're gonna get a big piece of fabric in red and white gingham, and it's about 1 yard long, and you will cut each strip yourself. And what you do, if you do them about the width of the squeegee, you can start by cutting maybe 1/4 of the way, and then not even 1/4 of the way, just a couple of snips down, and then just rip it. That's how it's designed. You don't need to cut every piece. I think it's better when you rip the fabric than if you try to cut the pieces, because the cutting of the pieces, for me, just makes it look too, I don't know. It just doesn't, I like the shabbiness of not cutting it but ripping it. So I'll show you, for example, especially with drop cloth. As you can see, the only thing is that you do have some strings, but you know, that's the part for the course. So here's one fabric strip that I cut out of the drop cloth, and you see how those edges are fraying. That's what I love. So I'm excited that they came out like that. And I just take my 2 ends. It doesn't have to be a perfect cut. It doesn't have to be a perfect strip. I'm gonna take my 2 ends together like this. We're gonna take our board. Let me just get some heat on it, because I do see that it's not quite dry, and we are gonna be handling it, so. And of course, you know me, we're gonna do some edging. We'll probably bring in some of our stamp pads. We may even bring in a little bit of wax, just to give it that really kind of old world, neutral look that I just love and can't get enough of. This hazelnut paint from Waverly is a favorite of mine. It is wonderful even for Christmas time. If you're doing any kind of gingerbread creations, you definitely want hazelnut. It's the perfect color for gingerbread. Okay, I think we've gotten pretty good dry now. And so you're gonna take your strip and just slip it in your hole, in your slot rather, and then you're gonna take your 2 ends and just bring them through that slot, and kind of, my strings are not cooperating with me tonight. Pull it all through. I'm gonna try to make mine as tight as I can, because I have quite a few fabric strips. That's just another thing that I wanted to do. And I don't know if I want them this way or the other way. I think I want to try and put my strip facing the other way. So excuse me, trial and error. Rather than putting my fabric in front, I'm gonna go from the back. And it doesn't, like I said, your pieces don't have to be evenly cut in terms of your ends. I mean, evenly measured in terms of your ends. You can just move it around. You're gonna clip it at the end to make sure that you have the length that you like. But that's kind of where we're starting. And we're just gonna go all the way down and add our strips. So I'm gonna start, I started with the neutral. I'm just gonna bring in all of my brown fabrics, my beiges and my browns, and they are not all the same fabric, which is another thing that I like because it's going to really have a great variety, I think. Did I say that? How did we do that, guys? Did I go from the back? I went from the back this way. Okay. Hello, Melissa. How are you? Thank you for joining us. And I'm just pushing it over as I put my strips in. So you can see my lengths are not the same right now, but we won't worry about that. We're going to trim that. And I think I want to alternate mine and do, you know, a neutral, a pattern, a neutral, a pattern kind of thing. So what do you guys think about this idea so far? I like this creation. I have always thought that I wanted to do something like this. So when Magnolia came out with this as a craft club, I was like, that is great because it's got everything that I would need in there down to the fabric. I just chose to go another way and do it with neutrals. I even have some lace here, some really pretty lace that I think I want to try and see if I can put it on the ends. The problem with my lace is that I didn't have a strip long enough to double it, so I have just 3 pieces that are single, and I have to figure out how I can incorporate that without having to use too much of it, because if I double it, it's going to make very short ends. And I know that I probably want them on the end of the project simply because I don't have a lot of that fabric. So let's see, since we're already here close to this end, how we could add that. So for example, this is how we're working so far. And of course, like I said, we'll trim our ends. I'm definitely gonna leave space to put this lace in there somehow, because it's just so gorgeous that I cannot not use it. So it's a little, it takes a little bit more prep because you are going to have to cut your strips, and you could do that, you know, beforehand and then put the project together later, or you can do it all in one sitting. Because I am doing this live, I definitely cut my fabrics ahead of time, and I am pushing mine really close together just because I want it to look nice and full, and I have enough fabric to do that. So I think with your fabric that comes in a kit, you'll probably get about 16 strips, which is more than enough to do this project. Y'all know me though, I'm just extra, so I cut a lot of strips because in my mind, I'm gonna use a lot of strips, but I don't know. The actual space may not allow me to use as many as I cut, but that's okay too. And you can see some of my fabric strips are thinner, some are thicker. I didn't worry about that. I just went for it. And it definitely does go by pretty quick once you've gotten your strips cut and everything. Here is what we are having so far. I am liking the way this is looking already. I like that whole like shabby chic kind of feel that we got going on. I really want to put some lace in here, but I haven't figured out how to get this strip on here because I can't double it. If I double it, it's going to be really short, and I'm not sure that I want my piece, my ends to be that short. So I think I would have to probably go from the back like this, and then I can probably add the lace pieces in there. I'm going to do that on the ends. So in the meantime, we'll just keep alternating between the neutrals and the browns. Earth tones are my favorite colors, so that's just the reason why I picked to use this as opposed to the red and white. Oh, you worked on a red, white, and blue one today? Yeah, I definitely am going to probably do the one that came in a craft club kit with the red and white. I think even with that though, I may add some blue strips or just maybe some alternating white strips because the fabric is red and white gingham, but I think I would like to add probably something else to it. I'm just looking to make sure I have all of these different fabrics. They're all in the same family, but they have different patterns, and I want to use all of them. And also, this is honestly a good way for me to get rid of some of my fabric because I do have a bunch. And this will help me to be able to use some of that up. I love this already. I can tell this is definitely going to be something that I'm going to like. I'm just looking for my longer strips so that when I go to cut, I can have them all be fairly even. Because I don't know what my final length is going to be yet. We'll determine that in a few minutes. And like I said, I'm scrunching mine really close to one another just to create more room on the bar. The other thing you could definitely do with this, if you are a wreath maker, and I thought about doing that, you could add some of the mesh, deco mesh to it. But this is what we have so far. I like this. I'm loving the neutrals and the browns mixed together this way. Okay. We've got some rusty stars. We've got some other wood stars, even bigger, that if we want to add to the project, we can add those. And certainly if you wanted to make it look even more rustic, you can even apply, you know, the rust technique with some Mod Podge and some cinnamon around those edges. There's just like a lot of things you can do with it. So certainly consider all those options to make your piece really unique. And one that is definitely just you. Just like I said, I know that Magnolia has a ton of creators in the business, and a lot of us are part of Craft Club because we want to grow our Craft Club membership, and a lot of us go live and do the projects on live. I didn't want to do something exactly like you guys have been seeing everybody else do, so I was thinking, what else can I do with this? How can I make mine look a little bit different? And this was what I came up with. I definitely am going to probably apply some stars, the stencil in the back as well, just because I think it looks better. It would look better than just a blank back. And like I said, if you hung it up, let's say on your porch or something, and you know, people coming and going would be looking at a finished product. So that's another reason why I like to do that. Okay, we're almost to the end. I thought even about creating my fabric to kind of look a little bit more like bunting across the bottom, but the board is not that big, and I felt like that would be a little bit too much probably. If the board was longer, I certainly would have done that. And you see, I'm pushing mine over, creating even more space because I just want it to look really full, really plush. am trying to follow somewhat the pattern methodology here. So like for example, the next one I'm looking for is one of these checks. If I have another one, if I don't, it doesn't matter. I can just move to the next color and work that way. And this is one of those that, like I said, you don't have to worry about being so perfect, because it's just you putting fabric on. You don't have to stress yourself. You don't have to be, oh my God, that line is not straight. This is wrong. None of that is involved in this month's Craft Club kit. And that is a welcome change. I like things that are quick, easy, don't require too much, just are a lot of fun, and you can just be really creative in putting your spin on it. So this month's Craft Club will definitely allow you to do that. Hello, Denise, how are you? Thank you for watching us. Thank you for joining. So here's what we have so far. We do have a little bit more space towards the end. So we're gonna run straight to the end, and then we're gonna look at how we're gonna add some of this gorgeous, gorgeous lace in there. Even if we just put 2 strips on the end, I gotta get that in there. I just love it. So I'm gonna figure out how we can incorporate that for sure. I think some of my strips are longer than others, particularly this stripe ticking fabric here. I got these fabrics, in case anybody was wondering, last year around Christmas time. There is Jubilee Fabrics is the name of it, and they have a page on Facebook as well as a website. All kinds of just gorgeous, gorgeous fabrics. They sell them in what's called like those jelly rolls. You can get it that way. You can buy it by the yard. You can, you know, whatever your preference is. I tend to prefer to get the jelly rolls, because inside of the jelly rolls you get they're all the same color wave, but you get different patterns within it. And all of these brown fabrics came in my jelly roll. It must have been about 6 or 7 different patterns. So I really, really like that, because then I don't have to worry about buying yardage of all these different color patterns. So this is what we have. I love it. What do you guys think? You guys like this? You like my take on Craft Club this month? I'm definitely going to trim these edges. These ends. We're going to find a good point that we think is a great length for us. In the meantime, I have all this fabric left over. I'll figure out something that we're going to do with that. I'll do something with that probably in another project. But I do want to add some of this lace in here. So I want to look at how that is possible, because of course the lace is not long enough to double, and I just feel like if I did double it, then my strips would be rather short. No, it wouldn't be too short. They all would be ending here, and I don't think that's too bad, but I like just a little bit longer. So I'm thinking that I may put this in just enough to go over the back. Not too much. Maybe that way on the ends. Or no lace? What do you guys think? Lace or no lace? Maybe the lace is not quite an addition. It really doesn't do much more for it now that I'm looking at it as part of the project. It's really not, I don't see much of an enhancement in it, unless I was possibly putting the strips maybe more into the pattern. What do you guys think? Thank you, Miss Fanny. Let's see. I'm gonna stick it in here because we don't have to glue it, or we don't have to attach anything. Let's just see if we had the lace. running over some of our fabrics, what that looks like. I'm just kind of sticking it in there just to see what that would look like, and then that will determine whether or not you really want to figure out a way to apply it. Okay. So that has our lace in it. Now that I'm looking at the lace in the project, I think it's detracting from it. So I don't think I'm gonna use the lace tonight, even though I really thought that was gonna look really good. But I don't know, it's not looking that way quite for me. So I am gonna just trim some of these. I'm not gonna make them all totally even, but some of these are a lot longer than the others. So I just trimmed it down some while we continue working. But I like this. And as you can see, if we put our stars in the back, you can see it going from the front as well as the back. If you hung it up and it was hanging from something and it suspends, it could act, if it turned around, you would see the pattern on both sides. Yeah, I feel the same way, Miss Fanny. No lace for me either, even though I was really convinced I was gonna use that lace. So I have some wood stars that I was thinking I could also paint and apply, and they would be more of kind of a 3D type effect because they are larger. I have two of them. I can place them both on the piece, kind of like this, or not. What are you guys thinking about the stars? And then I also have some rusty bells that I really wanted to try to incorporate in here. And I was thinking the bells somewhere along this bar that I could probably attach them. Let me give you a sense of, yeah, it was definitely distracting. You like the stars, Denise? I want some of my bell to be ringing. So we could put the bells along the bar this way. This one is not attached, so that's why it's moving around. I have 3 of them, so we could do that. And then the other over here. But one thing I know I want to do, and let's get to it, is who can guess what that is? I want to edge this. So I am definitely going to look for my faves. I have some ground espresso and I have vintage photo. We're gonna take the ground espresso first. You know what, let's go this time, let's go with vintage photo first. And I'm gonna see if I can edge this. I don't like the pieces not edged because they just look so flat to me. I think even though this doesn't seem like it does much, visually it does a whole lot. It really gives your piece some depth and some dimension that just is not there if you don't edge your product. Yeah, I am much more in love with this piece now that I put that little bit of edging around it. It's definitely giving it some depth. And I want to, while we're at it, let's see if we can do our back of our project with the stencil. And I have all kinds of stuff here. I even thought about, because it had that kind of old world rustic kind of feel, you can consider, I have some cinnamon sticks in here. I have all kinds of rusty goodness that I think might blend in. I don't know why I can't open my bag though. Oh, here we go. I have some cinnamon sticks here. I do have another large bell. I have small little tiny bells. So we're gonna definitely add some of that in there. I like the idea of the cinnamon sticks just because it smells so good. So let's take our stencil and put it here. Let's try and wipe a little bit of that paste off. Okay, we are definitely almost finished cleaning that off. Now we're gonna flip it over once and get up any paste that may be on the back. So we start with a clean slate as we apply it to the back of our project. And again, this, you can get this stencil, you can buy it separately. Magnolia does allow you to buy the Craft Club stencil separately, and this month they even have the surface. You can buy the surface separately. What you would not get is your instruction sheet. You wouldn't get your squeegee, and you wouldn't get your paste packet. So, you know, if you're somebody who has those things already, it may not, you know, you may not want, if you're not a member of Craft Club, to go that route. But if you're not in Craft Club and you have not tried Magnolia, I would encourage you to do it through the Craft Club, simply because you get a kit every month with a stencil in it, as well as everything you need to complete the project. And in addition to that, if you are a member of Craft Club, you get 10% off of every Magnolia purchase that you make. So if there are other things, other stencils, other surfaces you want to buy, you will be able to get 10% off of that. That is not available to you if you are not a Craft Club member. So, and if you join Craft Club, you become a member of my Craft Club. And what I like to always do with my customers is I like to demonstrate Craft Club and show you various ways that you can use the same stencil to create different projects, and even sometimes to create the same project differently, like we're doing tonight. So let's just throw these stars on here really quickly, because I don't like the back being so bare. Every time I hold it up to you guys and I see the back of it, that bothers me. So here we go, our almond latte. And you can use any colors. You don't have to do it, you know, in the neutral tones like I did. If there's some other colors you want to use, certainly by all means do that. Or you can do it just as Craft Club has demonstrated, in the red, the whites, and the blues, to be more like the colors of our American flag. I just feel like even with these colors, everybody gets the sense that it is a flag and that it is definitely my version of the American flag in neutral colors. Would be no different than if you were looking at it in the magazine and they had a black and white photo, or that's the kind of impression that this would give. And as artists, we can take license to create it how we see it. You like the bells, Anita? How are you, my friend? Sister. Okay, we're almost done with the paste. I'm not trying to be too perfect with it because I like that imperfection that occurs when you don't have every inch of the stencil covered. Again, just my style. You certainly can do it to your liking. Yeah, we're going to pick up our stencil. It is quite tacky still, and I've fuzzed this quite a few times already. I'm going to take it from both ends and meet in the middle. I'm trying not to stick my whole palm in the middle of this pencil. Now I'm just gonna allow that paste to release itself. I got a little bit of smudge going on there. Let me see if I can get that up. And again, because of the style of this, I don't mind if it's not totally perfect. I'm not going for 100% perfection here. I just want something that is appeasing to me. And because of that, let me see if I can take this smudge off with a little bit of my finger sander. I don't mind, like I said, the imperfection. I am definitely, you guys know me, I will be taking my stamp pads and going around it, adding some more color and some depth and some dimension, and this all just plays right into that lovely for me. So we're just gonna get a little dry on here so we can keep working. I don't know what I did there. I don't know if I put my finger there or what that was, but we will make it work. Yeah, this is definitely looking better. I like the fact that we now have both sides of this complete. I'm definitely don't, some of my paste is still not dry. And this heat tool dries really quickly. I don't know, I think it was UT that was asking me about it. It dries very quickly. I just like to move it all around as opposed to keeping it concentrated in one spot. I have put it too close to some things and caused the paint to bubble a little. So you gotta be careful about that because it is that hot. So there is one side and here is our other side. So now you see our project is styling both ways. I love it. What do you guys think about that? Do you like this? It's definitely different for me, but not different, if you know what I mean, because if you've been watching me, you know that these are definitely my colors. We do have some jute string that we can use to string our handle. You guys have seen that. I don't know if that's worth the time for me to take to do that. I'd rather spend that time adding these bells because we are at the top of the hour. So let's add the bells. And because my bell strands are so long, I'm just gonna kind of wrap them around one time through the front and the back, and that will give me a steady hold for them. And I can clip those ends off. I love it. I'm just gonna go back and forth and add them that way. And get the hold of both of these ends here. Okay. Eyes is failing, girls. Eyes are failing. Even with the glasses, I couldn't see that second strand. Okay, I like this. So there we have our 2 bells. Of course, I'm going to cut that extra wire off, but I like our 2 bells. We also have, if we wanted to put a 3rd bell in the middle, we could do that, and I probably will add that to it. And I don't know, I just love the smell of these cinnamon sticks. I'm gonna figure out somehow or another to put them on there, y'all. So when you see a picture posted, you might see the cinnamon sticks. And I think I am gonna add the stars on one side, and then the other side will have it without the stars. So if you liked it the other way without stars, you can just kind of flip it around and you'll see a version of both of them. I want to just see though if I add a little bit of color to this star, a little bit of our hazelnut, what that does. What do you guys think? I like that. I think that's good. Of course, you know, I'm gonna definitely edge it up some because it just wouldn't be me if I didn't. Again, it's all about the depth and dimension, and that's why I like to do that, because without it, that star is laying just really flat on that piece, even though it has all of those other stars in the back of it. This one is really not standing out because it's not edged. So now if I show it to you with it edged, you can certainly see it a lot more. So what do you guys think about that? I'm going to finish up. I'm going to do my handle. I'm going to add this star here. I may add a second one, and I'll definitely post some pictures. But I'm interested in knowing, do you like this month's craft club? And anybody like it? Show me some hearts if you guys like this project. I like it. I actually like it a lot better than I thought I would. Definitely was a lot of fun creating it. I like the take that we did with it. I like the fact that we went in another direction rather than just the typical red, white, and blue. What do you guys think? I love it. I hope you enjoyed it. As I said, I will finish it up and I will post some pictures, and hopefully you will come back and join me on Monday and Friday nights. I may be coming again on this weekend. In any case, I will leave a post on the page to let you know. So I thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. Here's our front and our back. So our project is ready, coming and going. I'm going to trim up these ends a little bit and make them a little bit more even, but I really love this project. And again, if you're interested, this is this month's craft club. It will be available until the last day of the month. I will leave a link to craft club in case you're interested in getting you a kit. I will leave my link in the comments so that you can be able to get your own. In the meantime, take care of yourself, take care of each other, be well, and have a great rest of your weekend and a wonderful Memorial Day. Let's see if the hearts went back to working yet on Facebook. Apparently not. They have taken my hearts away from me. But you guys have a good night. Stay well, stay blessed. Take care. Bye-bye.